By the way, I talked to a scout, NFL scout yesterday, and we were talking about a variety of things because he watches a lot of tape. He goes see teams in person. And he called me. He said, hey, get ahead of the curve. Jalen Milroe is a better throwing Lamar Jackson. And I go, okay, all right. And he said the jump from last year to this year is remarkable. Now, he's a junior, so he could come out after this year. But I was told by a NFL scout that Jalen Milroe is a better throwing Lamar Jackson. He's a great deep ball thrower. And I said, okay, all right, you got me there. Now, duly noted there. Yes, Paul?
Jalen Milroe last year had 23 touchdowns and 6 picks. He was briefly benched and then came back and tore it up. This year so far, he's a 73% passer, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's also running for 68 yards per game this year. Last year, he ran for 41 yards per game.
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to stay for his senior year. I did ask the NFL scout, I said, what is the consensus for Arch Manning? And he said, we're looking at him that he's going to stay 4 years at Texas. And I said, could you see a scenario where Deion and Shedeur Sanders, let's say Carolina has the pick, and Shedeur Sanders is there. Now, you can move on from Bryce Young. And I said, could you see a scenario where Deion goes, he's not going to play for that owner. He's not going to play for that team. And the NFL scout said, I heard you say that on your show. I haven't heard anything, but I will say some of his friends, scouts who go into Colorado, he says it's wild. He says it's wild there. You're trying to assess, and he goes, I don't want to get into it too deeply, but it's quite an atmosphere there. And he said, Shedeur's attitude might turn off some people. He said, it didn't me. He goes, I love that he's confident, just like Deion was. If you can back it up, you can have a Hall of Fame career. But just some random notes there from an NFL scout who's contributed to this show, over the years. But calling me up about Jalen Milroe, I was like, wow, you're calling me. Because we normally just text, and he was telling me he's all in on Jalen Milroe. And, you sit there and you break down film. That's what he's doing. He's breaking down film. And I think went to see one of the games. Yes, Paul?
Sometimes I think when you hear a college quarterback's name as a legit pro prospect, you kind of cringe back and say, that guy? Yeah. He's more of a runner. But if you will go back 6 years, when Jalen Hurts was at Alabama, nobody was talking about him playing professional football. He had to go to Oklahoma and showcase himself for that chance. And even then, you could look at the draft profile of Jalen Hurts, high-end backup, curveball off the bench. No one saw it.
I still don't see it. But that's
see just it-ish.
Yes. Once again, he had one of the great Super Bowls that a quarterback has ever had. And he had a great season. And maybe it's just the conflict between him and his coach, not on the same page. If you're not on the same page, turn the page. Maybe it's a little bit better because Jalen Hurts is going to be there. I don't know if Nick Sirianni is going to be there.